What's up, everyone? Steven Jensen here with Rob Wilkins. We are live for Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley 2. I've been following all these kinds of fights. You can see I got the posters behind me for both the Paul brothers. Very heavily invested in this type of stuff, and we love bringing it to you right here on Fightful. We got the entrances coming up in a second. They're running a video package right now, getting ready for the main event. Rob, how you doing, man?
I am doing good. I am excited for this fight. I used to like these Paul fights. I used to be just kind of like, they are what they are. But I'm now I'm kind of excited because I want to see what goes on.
Yeah. So, how many of these have you seen?
I think this is my fourth.
Okay. Yeah, man. They've
Yeah,
definitely overperformed. You know what I mean, as far as like original expectations, for sure.
yep,
And I think that's a big reason that people get so hyped up for this because they've beaten. I mean, Jake Paul in particular. I mean, he beat Nate Robinson, and there was really nothing that impressive about that, right? But it was a
yeah,
former NBA player, and then you have, of course, the Tyron or the Ben Askren knockout, but that was also Ben Askren. His striking is really bad. But then Tyron Woodley has, pretty good striking, especially within like the context of mixed martial arts. So for him to beat
yeah,
him last time, I mean, Jake, at the very least, Jake is, you got to give him respect one way or another that he is at the level he's at.
yeah. Definitely, I would agree with that. He's been good. I think he's one of those guys people just want to. I don't know if it's they want to see him lose or what, but I actually don't mind it. I think I've always liked boxing, and to be honest with you, he's kind of helping the sport.
Yeah,
You know,
I think he
that's a,
definitely is. It
that's the way
brings
I
in
look at it.
it brings in a lot of new fans. I mean, a lot of it seems a bit backwards, right? Where like he's the main event. There's like title fights on the undercard and stuff,
Yeah,
but he's at the end of the day, he's super famous. I mean, there's no really other way of putting it. Like he's super famous. He has millions and millions and millions of followers across all social media, and he's dedicated his life to boxing the last handful of years. Like you got to give him the credit that he's at least taking this really seriously and wants to fight good fighters. I mean, he was supposed
yeah,
to fight Tommy Fury tonight, and like the verdict's still kind of out of how good he actually is. But he's an actual boxer, and like Jake was willing to fight him. Like, Tommy's the one who dropped out of the fight for Tyron to get his rematch tonight. And speaking of, by the way, Tyron Woodley is on the beginning of his walkout here to get this all started. But yeah, Rob, I don't know. I guess I should ask you right now, and I'll ask the chat a bunch of times throughout the night. But who do you actually think is going to win this? You think Jake Paul gets him a second time, or you think Tyron Woodley gets some revenge here?
I think Paul gets him again. I think it goes. I don't know if it'll go the distance. So, see, and the thing is I like Woodley, so it's one of those things where I just don't know. I assume Paul's favored. Um, I just think he's going to win. I think Paul's going to win in say round 4, actually round 5.
Round 5. It's an 8-round fight. So yeah, I'm taking Jake Paul as well. I think he's going to finish him too. But Tyron Woodley is incentivized. I'm sorry, Tyron Woodley's making his walk now to the. Was that him backstage a second ago? What did they just show a second ago?
I couldn't tell what that was.
Yeah, because now he's like on the entrance ramp. Someone's wrapping him to the ring. But there is an incentive. There's an incentive out there for Tyron Woodley where Jake Paul says that he's going to give Tyron Woodley $500,000 if he knocks him out. So either Woodley's going to be super aggressive and like take him out and win $500,000, or I think he's going to be super aggressive and Jake Paul is going to be expecting that because he's incentivized to be aggressive and use that to counter him and maybe win that way. But Woodley looks very, very focused on his walk to the ring right now.
Yeah, he does. He looks like he's ready to go.
Well, I mean, this man had "I love Jake Paul" tattooed on his finger, like to get this rematch to begin with. I mean, this is really all or nothing for him at this point because his MMA career is pretty shot at this point. You could fight like bare knuckle or maybe in Bellator or something, but his UFC career is done. and he's already lost to this guy once, and he's also a lot older, right? Like it's like two different generations of guys fighting each other. Like Jake Paul is this new like hype beast, social media influencer, and Tyron Woodley is this dude who's like around 40 years old that like wishes he had the kind of internet clout Jake Paul does, but like doesn't. And like his way to kind of get that is to beat Jake Paul in his mind, I think. So
yeah,
his career's kind of like in giant. And now on the flip side, if Woodley wins tonight, they're going to definitely do a trilogy, and like Woodley's going to make a lot more money.
Yeah.
And he's already making more money right now than he was in the UFC just to take these fights to begin with.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. Like I mean, it shows like I don't these guys they're gonna fight because that shelf life isn't forever in the UFC for a lot of them, and the fact that he's making a lot of money doing this, why not do it?
Yeah, I think more MMA guys should do it, to be honest. Especially ones that feel like they're either underpaid in the UFC or, are really good strikers, but maybe not so well-rounded. I mean, you can make way more money doing this if you're the right guy with the right opponent and stuff. So I don't fault Tyron Woodley for any of this, by the way. Like, I'm not really the biggest fan of his. Because I didn't like the way he really carried himself when he was the UFC champion. But that's kind of a whole other thing. But it's just one of these things where like, I definitely respect the fact that he's doing this. And I think he's smart to do this. Like make as much money as you can while you have the opportunity for sure. So yeah, I don't blame him. And I wish that other fighters had more options to do this. Like I'd love to see Francis Ngannou and the Diaz brothers and stuff like, boxing. We're getting to see it with Anderson Silva right now. And he's actually looks like he's actually really good. And you can only imagine how good he probably would have been if he could actually box like throughout the prime of his MMA career. He probably could have had parallel success in both potentially. So,
I always kind of wondered, like, I don't know if maybe I just don't remember, but what boxers have transferred over or have moved over to MMA and how their careers are.
Sorry, what was that? What was the last thing you said?
So what I'm basically wondering is how many MMA fighters have gone from boxing to MMA and how they are when they do it.
Yeah, it does happen occasionally and it varies. So like a good example would be James Toney, who was a former champion in boxing, fought Randy Couture, and the fight was super one-sided. It was over really quickly. Couture just got him into submission right away, and that was it. But then you have fighters like Holly Holm, who, had really successful kickboxing and boxing careers, went into MMA, and then became champions there too. So like it really varies depending, but you do see it happen.
Yeah.
But part of it also has to do with the pay, of course. I mean, a big part of it has to do with the pay. Like for someone like a Canelo Alvarez to come into the UFC, I don't know if there's any company that could pay him the money that he would want to do it. But it'd be interesting to see someone like that high level in boxing try in MMA. But he would destroy anybody who did the opposite. Like anybody who went from MMA to boxing, Canelo would just destroy in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
So Woodley's in the ring. We are awaiting the appearance of Jake Paul. Let us know in the chat, who do you guys have winning this fight? Y'all got Jake, y'all got Tyron. So Jimmy Lennon Jr. doing the announcement for Jake Paul. Have you seen this belt that he's been carrying around, Rob?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I don't know. I think it's really, I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense to me. Like, that's probably the easiest way to say it.
Yeah, it looks like it's very expensive, which is the whole point. But it is strange seeing like Rolexes and like expensive bags being sewn into title belts. But it'd be cool to win that. I mean, because at the very least you could sell all the stuff off the belt and make a whole lot of money, I guess. sounded like Jake Paul's coming out to the YMCA music, but then it might have changed. I can't really tell.
So, did you have any issues with GCW last night?
Well, like the stream itself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, at the beginning, I didn't. Pretty much from the time that they got going. I guess it was during the Briscoe brothers versus Brody King and can't remember who the partner was now for some reason. But yeah, from the tag match on, I was good to go. But I did see a lot of people complaining that they were having streaming issues kind of throughout the night. What about you?
I didn't watch it last night. I watched it today, but I didn't have any issues today.
That's cool. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's kind of like a running theme for a lot of these big GCW shows. Like they do have a lot of technical issues, which is a bummer. But I thought the show overall was really good, and I really liked the last few matches. It ran really late though. It was like I was real tired by the end of the show. I think it was like 3 a.m. my time or something when it finally ended.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was really a good card though. What's up, Joel? See Joel Pearl in the chat.
What's up, dude?
So we got both fighters in the ring. I can't tell if that's even a remix. That's just the YMCA song. I didn't have it up loud enough. Someone in the chat will know. Unless Rob, I don't know if you could hear it clear, but it sounded like Jake Paul came out to the It's Fun to Say at the YMCA Village people.
Yep.
Kind of random. I don't know if that has like a significance. Yeah. You guys have I got some people watching the fights in my living room. Oh, I didn't even catch that. Jake Paul.
He was dancing with the village people at a club.
Who was? Oh, so I guess so. Tommy Fury was seen dancing to the YMCA song shirtless at a club. That's what they're saying. Wait. Oh, and yeah, Jake has a British flag on his It says "Hey Tommy" something. I missed that while I was looking at the stream.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Wow. So Jake is just totally trolling Tommy Fury with this entire thing. So that all makes sense. That is the 4D chess of Jake Paul that he thought that deep into it. So basically he's representing where Tommy's from because Tommy isn't, no-showed essentially. Wow.
Odd.
We got Jimmy Lennon back in the ring, getting ready for these fight announcements. By the way, y'all, if you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed right here at youtube.com/Fightful. Make sure to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. I'll be dropping the Weekender podcast tomorrow. I do that every Sunday. Fightful Select, talking a bunch of indie stuff. I'll be talking GCW. I'll be talking a whole bunch of pro wrestling. And Rob, I know you got some stuff cooking for Select as well.
Yeah. Next week I'll be doing a review with Joel Pearl, who's in the chat. We're going to be doing, I think we decided Starrcade 91, I think.
Nice.
I already forgot, but yeah, doing that. And then I do a show with Maggie called Coexisting on Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, doing a little bit more over there. So
lots of content for y'all. Yeah, it's awesome, man. Lots of content for y'all at FightfulSelect.com. You also got Alice Pulaski's Sour Graps, of course. You got all the news and extra shows from Sean Ross Sapp, Jimmy Van, all the good people over there at FightfulSelect.com. Joel saying Battle Bowl.
Yeah, that's it. I knew it was Battle Bowl. Battle Bowl bitches. That would be the best name for it. Battle Bowl bitches.
Man, I'm pretty hyped for this. And also, make sure to give this a thumbs up. If you're watching this on YouTube or any other platform that allows you to give a like or a thumbs up, anything like that, we appreciate that here while we watch along with y'all for this giant rematch.
And we'll do our best to do a little bit of play-by-play for you. So,
yes. Yeah, we'll do our best. I know everyone's probably going to be a little off with the timing. All the streams aren't going to be exactly in sync. There's a little bit of a lag here and there, probably between us and y'all watching.
Yeah.
So I'll give out the times when I'm seeing the beginnings of the rounds, so that y'all have a good idea, kind of, if you are able to sync it, to kind of know where we're at, kind of on our thoughts of what's going on real time. And of course, if you have any super chats, donations, anything like that, we'll make sure to read them out, put them up on the screen. If you have any questions, we'll answer them to the best of our ability. If you have any statements that you just want read out, we'll do that for you too. Any amount that you send, we'll make sure to put it up there for you, including predictions. I really want to know who y'all think is going to win this. I have Jake Paul. Rob Wilkins has Jake Paul.
Yeah.
People I'm watching with, Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley.
Woodley. I mean, it's one of those things people think he's going to win. I think I shouldn't say everybody. I think a lot of people think Paul's going to win, but there's a lot of people that want Woodley to win because they just don't like Paul.
Of course, that's a big part of his drawing power. There's a lot of
people are paying because they want to watch him lose.
Yeah. I mean, you get a real mix of everything. You get the people that want to see him lose. You get the kind of like hype beast, social media, TikTok, Instagram people that like love him and want to be like him. You got people like me that just respect that he's as good as he's been.
Yeah. He's put the work in.
Yeah, 100%. And the fight just started. I'm at 2:57 of the first round. Okay. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds.
So you're probably about 20 seconds in front of me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I don't know if I'm able to pause.
Oh, it's fine. It's cool. So Paul's 4-0. Woodley is 0-1.
Yes. And the 1 is, of course, Jake. Yeah. Jake's got the center of the ring right now, kind of just throwing some jabs. Woodley this is the thing. In their first fight, Woodley wasn't nearly as aggressive as he should have been. And he also, he dropped Jake in their fight. So I think a lot of the reason that Woodley did as poorly as he did last fight is because he just didn't pull the trigger. And in this fight, it looks like he's at least going to attempt that. Some decent combos from Jake, though. I mean, Jake's a big dude, too. People don't take enough into that consideration. I mean, he's a big guy. He's big. He's much bigger than Tyron, it looks like. Or a little bit bigger, at least.
At the 2-minute mark, Woodley got a really nice right in.
Doing a lot of clinching.
Yep.
The ref's letting him fight, though, a little bit. He's breaking him up out of the clinch now in the corner, but this guy was doing I don't know if this is the same ref from the Frank Gore and Darren Williams fight or not. No, it isn't? Okay. I'm not sure either, but that referee let them clinch longer than I am used to seeing. It really depends on the ref. Sometimes they'll get tied up and they'll get right in there. Sometimes they'll let them dirty box a little bit. So I'm interested to see how that kind of goes here. Because you'd think Woodley would have an advantage in the dirty boxing aspect, like fighting out of a clinch. But they're in a clinch right now with 40 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, you're about 25 seconds ahead, so that makes sense.
Okay.
But Woodley's already how many times has that been? 3?
For what?
For clinching up?
Yeah, it's been a few times now. 4. Jake trying to use the jab to the body. Woodley tries the jab to the body too. Another clinch as they kind of wrap the round up. We've got 5 seconds left here. All right, 1 round in the books. I'd give that 10-9 to Jake. I don't know about,
yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Woodley, y'all got Woodley 10-9. So the people I'm watching got Woodley 10-9. Let us know in the chat who won the first round. I mean, that was really could have gone either way, I think. Jake's face is red. He got hit.
Woodley already threw more punches than the last two first round.
Dude did that water bottle with his teeth. Get it. Like, what are you doing?
Someone in the chat, Greg says they both lost round one.
Yeah, that.
I mean, I could see that being Woodley's round two. Like, I'm not like married to the Eddie that Jake won that round. I also was like kind of looking back and forth through part of it, so it looked like a pretty even round to me. But you gotta give it to somebody. That's why these decisions are always so close and controversial, like the 1 point apart on a judgment call. Nice overhand right from Jake. I'm at 2:30 of the second, by the way, for anyone watching along. So another clinch, a little dirty boxing, and a break. See, I also think if Woodley can stay pretty aggressive, like it'd be interesting to see if he can gas Jake out, because I think he can have some real success if he can do that.
Yeah.
Because Jake was like mainly the aggressor in the first fight because Woodley was so gun shy, but
Man, he keeps doing that a lot, man. Getting kind of ridiculous.
Woodley's on. Keep getting clinch. Woodley landed a good body shot in the clinch just now. You can see how invested the people are. Everyone's standing in the crowd. Well, they're doing a pretty good job of working the body when they're getting clinched now. I think Jake might have looked at the clock just then to see how much time was left.
Jesus. Hell, they might both lose round two the way this is going.
I'd like to see the stats for this. Like, hopefully they show them after the round. Oh, Jake threw a combo to the body and went to the head. A lot of it got blocked, but he's throwing a lot of like body head combos.
I honestly don't know who I'm going to give this round two right now. I think Paul gets it, though.
I don't know. That one's probably Woodley. Round
Just
two.
because of that,
Yeah.
that last 15 seconds, I thought that's where Paul took it.
Yeah. It's close to. I mean, these are both close rounds. They're both going to be like just total judgment calls from the referee or from the judges.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat. Who do y'all? Yeah. Who do you think is winning this fight right now? Are we tied? Where are we looking at? Let us know in the chat. Because I think it could be 1-1. It could be 2-0 Woodley. I mean, I really don't know. It's just close.
Paul's round 1-1. Yeah, then I can see that. Whew.
Did Tyron Woodley's corner man just hit him in the cup before the round started? That was kind of. Woodley's aggressive. He came out in the third round, swung a few hooks that whiffed. Jake's getting some counter strikes in. He's swinging heavy.
Martin says.
Oh, Jake's busted him in the forehead.
Martin's playing for draw to get a trilogy. I think he might have meant praying for a draw.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely there will definitely have a trilogy fight if Woodley wins this for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was caused by a punch or a headbutt because they did say on commentary that they clashed heads. Woodley's, I mean, this is good stuff. Woodley's like being super aggressive now.
Ooh, Woodley got some good ones in. Woodley's definitely got this round so far.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Jake with a good combo. Head and body. Yeah, Joel says Paul bleeding. That's a thing. Yeah, bleeding from the forehead. It looked like it was closing for a second. He got hit there again. It's definitely busted open.
What do you
Keep
about
coming
40?
close. Did they headbutt there? Yeah, there's been a few of them that the cut was an elbow or something. Yeah, I like to see a replay of that where he got busted open.
What do you have, about 40 seconds left?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that looked like a headbutt.
Yeah, when they're going in for the clinch like that, they're both going like head to head. Luckily, I mean, the blood's dripping around his eye at least. If that was going straight in his eye, that'd be a huge problem. But I mean, it still might be getting it. I mean, all right, so
Made it to round.
Nope, that was a headbutt.
Or round.
Yep.
Round 4 coming up.
So they just showed a replay. If he's bleeding coming off of that, that was definitely a headbutt that opened him.
Yep.
So they're working on the cut in the corner right now for Jake. Let us know in the chat what y'all think the score is right now. I'm really not sure.
Damn.
So here in my place, we've got a 3-0 Woodley, a 2-1 Woodley. I'd probably go 2-1 Woodley also right now.
Okay.
But once again, we're talking, I mean, who knows? Like, the judges who, yeah.
See, the hell happened to the cameraman?
I mean, it could very well be 3-0, Paul, for all we know, on the judges' scorecards. So, I mean, both guys are still, I mean, it's also, we're in the 4th of 8 rounds, so they're still throwing. I mean, there could still definitely be a finish, but
yeah, we'll see.
A lot of the chat is saying 2-1 Woodley. That seems to be
pretty
consistent.
That's what I think too. Now, I agree with the chat.
Yeah, keep letting us know in the chat who y'all think is winning. Any thoughts on the fights? Any extra predictions? Anything y'all got? And any super chats? Once again, we'll make sure to read them out, put them up on the screen. Make sure to answer your questions, read out your statements, all that good stuff. All that stuff, really helps out, supports the channel. Make sure to give it a thumbs up once again if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel as well.
It's getting old with the clinching.
Yeah, there has been a lot of clinching. Woodley's getting some good body work in, though, when he's getting the clinch. Jake's throwing kind of wild too on a lot of these combos, but like I don't know if he lands one of these uppercuts, it could be interesting. Oh, Woodley just went for a takedown, or he kind of threw him. We'll see. That wasn't like, you'll see it here in a second, Rob, but like he gets caught on him. It wasn't like he didn't take like a shot on him, but like he threw him off him. No penalty or point deduction or anything like that.
Why the hell would they not penalize him for that?
You wouldn't on something like that. But if you shot like a double leg, I think, you know what I mean? Like picked him up, like that'd be a different story. But they just kind of got caught up.
Yeah, it didn't look, I don't know. It didn't look like that to me that much.
And Joel says, Woodley turning into a judo match.
Yeah. Probably more entertaining.
It would be interesting. I mean, Jake apparently wants to actually take an MMA fight.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
He almost caught a knee from Woodley there. You'll see it here at the end of the round. All right, so we are 4 rounds down now. 4 rounds to go if it goes the distance. Okay, here's a replay of the throw. I don't know. I mean, he did throw him. So let's see. Paul kind of like puts him in almost like a guillotine. And Woodley, I mean, yeah, that wasn't too bad, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought because of the way Paul looked there for a second, but
earlier tonight, Darren Williams like shoved Frank Gore like through the ropes. It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just they got kind of like caught up, and he like just kind of like shoved him with his fists.
So what do you guys have it now?
I probably 3-1. I mean, Woodley won that last round, right? I mean, that was pretty clear. So probably 3-1 Woodley, but also super possible. Like could very possibly be Jake ahead. Who knows? But I feel like that last round like was pretty clearly Woodley.
Greg Carter says 3-1.
We went 2-2 from Marjo, 32. Yeah, I can see a 2-2 as well. I mean, the first round was close. You know, like it's just,
yeah.
You'd like to see something decisive though. Like I don't want to see like a split decision. Although, I mean, a trilogy fight would still sell pretty big probably, but I also don't know if people want to see these guys fight to 3 decisions either.
Yeah.
But they're still going after it. I mean, we still got like 2.5 rounds left. Or sorry, 3.5 rounds left. Matthew Lee Kindred says 3-1 only the second for Jake in his opinion, but the first could go either way. That's pretty much how I'm leaning to. I think 3-1 for Woodley right now. Jake won the second, but like the first was close, yeah.
Jesus, let's get old with Woodley. Fuck.
Woodley went to the body and Jake went for the head. Got about 45 seconds left in the 5th. We're clinching. We also got to think, I mean, for comparison, like We're 5 rounds into this, and Woodley's and Jake's still going like pretty strong out there. We saw Darren Williams and Frank Gore like gassed in like 2 rounds. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta respect the work that this dude's putting in, and he didn't come into it as a professional athlete like a lot of these guys that we're talking about. Josh Hale says, Woodley's MMA instincts are making this boring. I mean, it's definitely, it's a different thing. But Woodley is, ever since Woodley lost his UFC title, he has fought differently. And he has been, like, tagged really hard in a lot of those fights. But at this point, I mean, another headbutt on a clinch in the replay. There's been a lot of that. I'm not blaming one guy or the other. It's just been a lot of clinching, and a lot of them just clashing heads when they get in close like that. There was a nice combo and uppercut that he showed on the replay from Woodley. He probably won that round too.
Shit, man, you're right. That headbutt, man.
So yeah, it's probably 4-1 Woodley at this point. Maybe 3-2 potentially. But if I'm Jake, I'm definitely trying to finish this fight. Like, I'd be very aggressive and not leave it up to the judges. And it's the same for Woodley, by the way. Like, Woodley definitely can't be fighting like he's just comfortable out there. Like, once again, who knows what these judges are thinking. So let us know in the chat, though. What do you guys have in the as far as the score goes for the first 5 rounds? Yeah, it seems like a lot of people in the chat think this is a pretty boring fight. I don't think this is necessarily a boring fight. Like, especially, I mean, I've also watched a lot of boxing lately of like varying skill level. Like, I've watched a lot of like the TikTokers versus YouTubers and all that kind of stuff. And then also, real stuff like, involving guys like Tyson Fury and whatnot. So like there's I've been watching a lot more lately, but like a really wide variety of it. And like, I wouldn't consider this to be boring by any stretch, really, unless you were just expecting them to like go in there and just try to take each other's heads off like right away.
I think the clinching is what's doing it for me.
The clinching. Yeah, I can see that being, it is annoying. Especially if you're used to watching MMA where they like, that's like part of it, but
yeah,
this is more like an offensive method or like a way to try to get people to like get tired, like leaning up against them or whatever. But I wouldn't be doing that if I was either of these guys, because it could very well be even or very close on the cards right now. So like, both guys should be fighting to try to get a finish. Joel says commentary is hating this fight. I don't have it up loud enough to be able to hear that.
I have the captions on, and they are.
Are they?
Yeah, they're pretty much.
Troy Stevens says 39-37 for Paul so far. So he actually has Paul ahead. Which once again, I think there's going to be a lot of people that would agree with you. Like, it's.
Yeah, he says I've seen. So maybe I don't know.
Most are saying Woodley, though. I mean, the vast majority in here are saying Woodley. Fidel says Woodley's at least 2 rounds ahead. That's kind of where I'm at, I think. Oh! Jake just slept Tyron Woodley face down. Completely just knocked him out cold. I mean, dude, Woodley's still face down. He has no idea what's going on. Logan's up on the ring celebrating with him. Oh my God.
That came out of nowhere. Holy hell.
Wow. Dude. Jake Paul just cleaned Tyron Woodley's clock. Dude, that was that the 6th round? You were pretty close on that. You said the 4th?
Yeah, I think I said 4th.
Dude, I mean, I did call it in my predictions. It's on the record, various places. I thought that Jake Paul would get the win by knockout. I didn't have like a specific round in mind, but like, there it is. Woodley is still on his knees. They're trying to get him a bench right now or a stool. Wow. I mean, I shouldn't say shocked because like that was the outcome I predicted, but like based on the way the fight was going, that came out of nowhere. Like that was a close fight. Woodley's finally talking to the commissioners. He's finally, I think, realizing what happened. Oh my God. Wow. If I'm Jake Paul, I'm getting on that microphone and pointing out into the front row at Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz because they're both there front row and saying, either y'all want it next. Like, dude. Because part of me, you want to see Jake fight an actual boxer, but at the same time, it's like, I think he has his reservations how the Tommy Fury thing went down. Like, at least the MMA guys are showing up, So, like, I think he calls out one of those guys calls out Conor McGregor or something. Call out a massive MMA star. Yeah, or just call out Canelo Alvarez. Call out the best actual boxers out there. You know who the fight that probably makes the most sense is him and Anderson Silva. That'd be interesting. I think Anderson would still smoke him, but like Jake's got the knockout power clearly. That's what I mean, but any of those, any major name from MMA that's got hands, like, I mean, literal hands, but got good boxing. That's who, dude, that's unreal. Bacon Jr. says Jorge would destroy him. I mean, probably, maybe. If Jake hits anyone with something like that, I mean, was it a right hook or an overhand right? I just caught the end of it. Overhand, yeah. That's his like specialty punch too. Like he throws that hard. Yeah, this is what he knocked Nate Robinson out. It was kind of like a combo of both. Yeah, the commentary just said that too. He saw it coming. Yeah, dude, he might have broken his nose on the fall. Like he fell face first, no brace. What a punch, dude. No, I mean, people can say what they want about Jake Paul, but like, y'all gotta respect this. I mean, this is like, he's legit. I mean, that is wild. We're gonna hang out here for the post-fight interviews and stuff. So stick with us once again. Any last minute super chats, anything you guys got to say, I'll make sure to read it out for the chat and put it up on the screen for y'all. Wow. They just keep showing this replay. That fall, that might have been the best fall I've ever seen in the history of combat sports. Like falling face first, no arms out, nothing, and just literally falling flat on your face. Like I think his nose might be messed up from that, like legitimately. Like he might have broken his nose falling on his face. Woodley's mom is in there trying to give him a pep talk. She's like the nicest woman, like the history of combat sports. See, Woodley's not even listening to his mom. I bet you anything Woodley's mom's over there like telling him like, go make nice with that Paul boy over there. Like he's, he didn't do anything wrong. We were both trying to win, because she'll make friends with a lot of the guys that he feuds with because like they all like her because she's such like a positive person and like and always like giving them credit even though like her own son is fighting them and stuff.
He still just looks like where the hell am I type.
Yeah, he's probably still not. He probably still doesn't believe what's happened. Logan Paul is behind him like right now, taking pictures and stuff. And Logan's literally saying, "What the F?" Like. Even he can't believe it. I mean, I shouldn't say can't believe it. They had a lot of belief in themselves, those guys. But that was Logan's got a literal. He's got one of those. What do you call them? Those old school cameras we used to have back in the day that take the
Polaroid.
The Polaroid, right? Yeah, we have prints out the physical pictures. He got one of those in there. I gotta hear what Jake's gonna say here. Like Bacon Jr. said, Go only has one eye, right? I don't know if he has one eye technically, but he has one good eye. One of his eyes is, I don't know if it's a fake eye or just.
He's legally blind. And one, I think they said.
Legally blind. Yeah, that makes sense. Ariel Helwani is in the ring right now. I'm going to turn this up so I can hear it better. Oh. Wow, he said, I told you I was going to fuck him up, and I fucked him up. That's... Jake Paul just called Tyron Woodley a legend. Says don't take anything away from his UFC career. Respect for taking a fight on 2-week notice. And he called Tommy Fury a bitch. Oh, you got a hematoma on one. Woodley's. Oh, Woodley's got. He says he wants to interview Tyron Woodley, but Woodley clearly just wants to get out of there. Yeah, he got a hematoma on his face. That might have been from the fall, too. It might have been from the punch. Woodley's mom's trying to get Tyron out of there because he clearly does not want to be there. Jake said the elbow is what opened him up, and the blood was getting in his eye. Said there was a lot of headbutts. Got the job done. Said he was setting up that shot the whole fight. Dude, good for him, man. I mean, because what's so cool about what he's doing, why I think this is like so important and like why he deserves a lot of this credit is because a lot of people in his position, they become really big on social media. And then, you know, he's had various controversies and so has his brother and stuff, but like they were smart enough to recognize like you can't just be like a kid's YouTube channel forever. Like eventually, you know, we got to evolve to something bigger than this. And they are legitimate boxers now. It's unreal. Yeah. Like, this is their career. Like, they're not YouTubers. They're boxers.
Yeah. God, let's just show that punch again. Holy crap.
Oh, wait. Oh, Jake Paul just called. Oh, wait. Wait, who did you say he was going to fuck up? Oh, he just called out Diaz and Masvidal, I think. Is that what he said to have Dana let him out of their contract so they can do it. I think Nate just re-signed with the UFC recently. It's every day, bro. Oh, man. He went from making lame kid songs that were literally about selling his fan base merchandise to knocking out legitimate UFC champions in a boxing ring. Oh, Joel says he called them bitches for leaving the arena. Yeah, I couldn't hear all of that. And that's part of it I missed. I thought he was talking about the Island Boys at first. Those dudes got kicked out on the first fight of the main card. I don't know if you know who those guys are, the Island Boys.
I've heard of them, but I don't really.
Yeah, they're like really trying to do the most with their 15 minutes of fame. It seems like. Like they're just kind of popping up all over the place and just trying to like get attention. And they threw shoes at somebody in the crowd earlier. Like they got in a fight with a fan or some other influencer or something. I don't really know. But they wound up throwing shoes and being escorted by security out like way earlier tonight.
Wow.
I thought that's who that he was talking about at first, Jake Paul. And I was like, dude, he would knock both those guys out in one punch, like collectively, both of them with one hit.
Woodley wants the hell out of there.
Yeah, well, as he should. I mean, it's embarrassing for him. Like, he's a legitimate UFC champion. His rap career was terrible. He's probably the worst rapper I've ever heard in my life. I'm not even exaggerating. His acting career has been terrible. His major acting credit up to this point is literally having his junk bitten off and torn apart by a raccoon in a movie that was like produced by T.I. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, really bad rap career, really bad acting career. He's totally shot as far as UFC goes. Like, he's not getting any more fights in the UFC. Like, this might be the end of his combat sports career, and he has like really no options outside of sports or fighting now because, like, once again, rapping was bad, acting was bad, and now you're known as the guy who lost to Jake Paul twice and got knocked the hell out the second time. Like, I'd be bummed too if I was Tyron Woodley. WC, you know exactly what I'm talking. I'm gonna put that one on the screen. Fallen in and out of love. That was one of Tyron Woodley's songs. That was heavily memed on the internet because it was so bad. He had one with a group called the Glacier Boys. I think it was called Bout to Blow or something like that. And it was so cringe that they like scrubbed it off the internet. Like, you probably have to dig pretty hard to find that now.
Yeah. I'm going to take your word for it.
Oh, no, I just wanted to prove my point so people don't think I'm just like making this stuff up.
No,
There's people in the chat that are corresponding this. And once again,
hey, you're talking to a guy that bought the Deion Sanders rap CD, so I know what's bad.
There you go. I mean, but that's the thing, man. And the whole reason I even brought all that up is like, I'd be bummed too if I was Woodley. I'd be very bummed because like he really has very few options now for anything really. And you know, he did take the fight on a 2-week notice, which I give him major credit for. Like, he has some serious balls for doing this tonight on short notice. But he also got "I Love Jake Paul" tattooed on his fingers to get this rematch, which I think is a bit weak, for lack of better things that I guess I could say about it. So
how much did he make? You know,
I honestly didn't. On the first fight, he made $2 million, Woodley, I believe. So I mean, it's worth doing. Don't get me wrong. Like, this is worth doing, even if you got knocked out in one punch. Like, it's worth doing financially because, I mean, he probably made more in his one fight with Paul, the first fight. He probably made more on that than probably like a big bulk of his MMA career combined, to be honest. Like, because even when he was the champion, he was probably making $500,000 at best. Like, I mean, and that's like generously a generous estimation, but I'd guess he's probably making around what he made the first time. There might be some pay-per-view points included in that, like depending on how many people buy the show, but it's hard. I'm sure somebody knows the answer to that. And there will be more money on the back end as well, but he would have got an extra $500,000 if he would have knocked out Jake, though, which, you know, that would have helped big time too. But here's the thing, like I've been saying, at the end of the day, he made enough money tonight to where, like, even though, once again, the rap, the acting, the fighting, and all that stuff is, like, kind of out the window now.
Yeah.
He's financially secure as long as he's smart with his money. You know what I mean? Like, he shouldn't have to keep fighting, hopefully. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Your prediction, Rob, who does Jake Paul fight next?
Do you think Masvidal takes it? I don't.
Well, I think part of it's a matter of what the UFC will let him do under contract. You know, because like obviously the UFC and AEW have a working relationship, and Dana White and Tony Khan are cool with each other. So like we've seen, like for instance, Junior Dos Santos. Junior Dos Santos no longer fights for the UFC, but Andrei Arlovski does, and he did the that match at the pay-per-view where it was him and the best. The men of the year and Dan Lambert and all that. Arlovski is under contract to the UFC, and they let him do that match. Masvidal is obviously under contract and let him lead Jericho on Dynamite and everything. But how much will they let them box? They did it with Conor, obviously, but like, you know, I think Dana. See, the difference too is like I think Dana looks at it like, okay, if Conor McGregor fights Floyd Mayweather, which, you know, when this happened, he's thinking it's going to be the biggest pay-per-view of all time or one of the biggest pay-per-views of all time. Even if he loses, like he's still in his prime in MMA, making a ton of money. You're still co-promoting, getting a lot of the UFC and Zuffa stuff out there. But it's a little different. But the big kicker there is, and it's against arguably the best fighter of all time, at the very least, the best fighter of our generation, Floyd Mayweather. Like, so there's no real shame in losing to him. Yeah. It's a little different with Jake, where like if you send Masvidal or Conor or whoever, like a big UFC name to fight Jake, and Jake knocks them out cold, you know what I mean? That's a lot different of a look than if Mayweather would have done it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think they have to be a lot more protective about, or I shouldn't say they have to be. I think that they just are being more protective about that. Now, if Jake is serious about fighting in MMA and he's actually training with Khabib and stuff, and he wants a UFC fight, I think he 1,000,000,000% should get one. Because if they're going to let CM Punk go in there at 0-0, like Jake is more famous than CM Punk. Jake has an actual, you know, fighting record now. Like if he wants to fight in the UFC, I think that they should let him do it. And if you beat someone in the UFC, he's just straight up legit at that point. You know what I mean? Like there's no even question about like is this still a freak show thing, or is he getting lucky or whatever? It's like, no, like he's just a good fighter at that point. You know what I mean?
But do you think they'd go with, is the Tommy Fury one just done altogether, you think, or?
I don't know. I mean, the sad truth of it is within like the boxing world is that Jake is a way bigger star and a way bigger draw than Tommy Fury is. Like, I don't think it's even close. So, you know, I think that was Tommy Fury's one shot would have been this, but now Jake's past that now, I think. Because even if you have the option of Tommy Fury or Nate Diaz or Jorge Masvidal, Diaz and Masvidal are both way bigger names than Tommy Fury is also. So I just don't see any point in Jake fighting Tommy at this point. And to be honest, based on what I saw tonight, I think he knocked Tommy Fury out also. So yeah. People on Twitter talking about Paul being on Plant and Canelo's level. No, definitely not. I'm not that delusional about this. Bacon Jr. says send hook. Love that. My brother's loving this. But yeah, I mean, so I guess that's where we're at. I guess I'd say, you know, someone in the chat also, Paul said that Nate has one fight left. I think I could be wrong, but I think Nate extended. I think he has a longer contract now. I could be wrong about that, but I that's at least what I was told recently, is that he is sticking around the UFC. And that's why it looks like they're looking towards Nate versus Poirier now, whereas before they were considering Nate versus Chimaev because they figured if Nate was going to be there for one more fight, they were going to try to make Chimaev's name off of him. But now that he's sticking around, he'll fight just bigger names that are make a bit more sense. Amlet says, get the casket ready for Paul if Canelo takes the fight. I mean, that's just, I don't feel like that there's any chance of that happening unless Paul actually beats like a ranked legitimate boxer. But like, he's still a ways from that right now. He's knocking out MMA fighters that are trying boxing, but something just fell in my office, but he's not fighting boxers. But then again, like if he beat Tommy Fury, that's also not enough to like have him in the conversation like he could fight Canelo or something. You'd have to fight someone really legitimate first have that even be a part of the conversation, I think. But like I said, Nate Diaz I think would be a great opponent. Jorge Masvidal would be a great opponent. Anderson Silva would be a great opponent. I'd like to see all that, and I want to see Logan back in the ring soon too, because I think Logan, at least people thought he was the more technical boxer and Jake has the more power, and that still may be the case, but like Jake's looking really, really good. I mean, for what we're seeing, I'm very impressed. So Rob, as we kind of wrap up here, man, any final thoughts and anything you want to let the people know about?
Yeah, it's like I started just watching that fight and I'm just like, man, this is just not doing this thing for me, and then all of a sudden it's just over. That's what I love about boxing sometimes. But anyways, you can follow me on Twitter at Rob Wilkins. Every Tuesday night I cover NXT on Fightful. Wednesdays I cover Dynamite, and Friday nights I cover Rampage. I also have a show on Fightful Select called Coexisting with Rob and Maggie, and I also do a retro review with Joel Pearl. So staying busy.
Hell yeah. Good stuff. And thanks as always, Rob, for joining me tonight. Rob's a regular part of the Fightful Fight Night crew, so it was good to have him here, and I'm sure we'll have him the next time we're live. I think it'll probably be the next UFC pay-per-view, which will be Francis Ngannou versus Ciryl Gane, and there's also the trilogy fight between Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. So we'll catch you then. If there's anything else coming up, I'll keep you all updated on my Twitter. That's at FightTalk_, FIGHT TLK_. If you want to watch some independent wrestling anytime soon, check out independentwrestling.tv or IWTV.live. 2 ways to get to the same place. Use code FightTalk, FIGHT TALK, all is one word, no spaces. Put that in the promo code spot. Helps me out a lot when you do that. Fightful Select Weekender Podcast, as Rob mentioned. I'm also over there at Fightful Select. I'll be dropping an episode sometime tomorrow, probably like afternoon, evening time, We'll be recapping GCW, a whole bunch of stuff, 205 Live, NXT UK, MLW, NWA, all the usual stuff. I'll have a recommended show to watch on IWTV. So once again, subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. That's the most direct way to support us over at Fightful. Make sure on Tuesday to tune into the Christmas holiday stream, I should say, for Fightful. All the money that's donated to that stream helps get us some bonuses. So last year, I was very happily surprised when I had some extra money in my account from Fightful because of all you nice people donating during the holiday stream. So if y'all want to do that again, that's going to be this Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And as always, make sure you subscribe right here at Fightful. Make sure you are hitting the the thumbs up button. And yeah, we appreciate it. We'll be back, like I said, sometime probably UFC 270. So until then, I'm Steven Jensen. That's Rob Wilkins. We'll see you then.
See you guys.